Hello, adventurer, and welcome to another PG-DND Aftershow, where we talk about stuff that we just did. As always, we are a safe for work, non-explicit Dungeons & Dragons channel, and we have a special treat for you today as we will be sharing our thoughts about our Heroes of Theros Season 2, Episodes 13 through 18. As a reminder, there will be spoilers, all right? So if you haven't seen the last 6 episodes, or even the first, 12 for that matter, please go back and give them a watch or listen on YouTube or anywhere podcasts can be found before you get to this specific episode, as it will make a whole lot more sense and you'll have a way better time. But, of course, before we get into our discussion about these episodes, we're going to do a quick recap by the whole cast. Take it away, Shay.
I like that ring, the whole cast.
The whole cast.
Sounds nice.
You know it. Okay. Looking for some much-needed rest and relaxation from their fight with the Hydra while in Narano, our heroes decided to make camp on a nearby island. After volunteering for first watch, Alondros noticed a strange figure on the beach, which he recognized as his father. Thinking it to be a cruel trick, he decided to wake up Vasilis to investigate. As the two investigated, more Vasilis began to see who he thought was Theseus. After agreeing it...
Sorry, I'm a terrible writer.
No, it's fine. Connor blocked me a little bit.
Oh.
After agreeing it best to just turn back, Vasilis was suddenly overcome and was thrown into a fit of rage and began attacking his satyr friend. Alondros took very heavy damage before cleverly entrapping Vasilis with magic while he got the rest of the group. After the Acroan snapped out of his psychosis, he agreed to seek answer as to why he may have fallen into it to begin with. Consenting to an identify spell cast by Alondros, the group was shocked to discover that their barbarian friend was under the influence of a 9th level modify memory spell. As the group made their way back to the ship, they noticed a massive object breaking through the skies of the underworld that crashed on the horizon, sending shockwaves into their direction.
And you've got some $5 words in there.
Listen, when you have to write a big recap for 6 episodes, it gets boring just saying, Alondros did this, Vasilis did this, they did this. So I like to flavor it up a little bit, and maybe to our expense, but that's all right.
It's all
That's
good.
all right.
And that's before the first reckoning of the first ages of...
No, I liked it. I thought it brought
Yeah, that's
flavor.
correct.
As the heroes slept, Callan had another vision of Theseus, this time as if he had chosen to follow Theseus in the beginning. In the end of the vision, Callan saw a defeated Perforus, with a triumphant Theseus standing over him. The next morning, Vasilis spoke with Proteus, and upon taking his advice, decided to get help from his friends in gaining his memories back. As Callan used magic from both his gods, Vasilis remembered almost becoming the champion of magic of Mogus before Theseus.
That was my bad.
And that his father used that information to try to frame Theseus and get him killed. He also learned he underwent not 1, but 2 modify memory spells, the second being against his will and a part of the plot to frame Theseus.
And I forget what all happened.
Right?
This is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
always good
It's
to have
been a
these.
crazy few episodes.
There's a lot that happened in these 6 episodes.
Yeah. All right. Finally, leaving the vast oceans of Narano, Callan, Vasilis, and Alondros all had final words with Proteus before departing the Obtainer. Callan and Thalassa also finally made things official between them, complete with a kiss, which was caught by Alondros. Once on the shores of the unknown next realm of the underworld, Proteus gave 2 scrolls to the group and asked them to give them to his sons, should they see them again. Once the obtainer departed, our heroes bathed in the waters of Nerino before investigating a mysterious shape in the distance. They soon discovered the shape to be the dying body of the forge god Perforus. The slain god described his defeat at the hands of Theseus, and before... Oh no. Stop text. Sorry. The words are moving. The slain god described his defeat at the hands of Theseus, and before taking his last breath, transferred his essence of creation to Alondros. As our heroes stood shocked at the sight of yet another slain god, they were surprised by the presence of the Lord of the Underworld himself, Erebus.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just gonna say that.
The god of the underworld greeted our heroes with what seemed as indifference, claiming he will decide whether or not he will slay them if they indeed make it to his palace. The group attempted to coerce the god by revealing the deal they made with Phaenax, but the brooding deity refused to accept this proposition. Erebus then took the body of his slain brother Perforus before departing as quickly as he appeared, leaving in his wake to Phylaxia, that's a different word, to Phylaxia to battle our heroes. Using magic, might, and the power of friendship, the heroes of Theros were victorious yet again. And after the battle began their journey through the next level of the underworld, this one appeared to be a colorless expanse of wheat.
That is the greatest line.
Yep.
Power of friendship. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I knew you would
love
love
that.
it, which is why I included that. I was writing it because, like, you guys find a lot of stuff, you know, and you guys.
Yeah.
So I was like, using magic, might, and the power of friendship.
The power of
And
friendship. Go! Heroes of Theros!
Yeah, it's true. As the party continued on, they began to finally see signs of life. Endless droves of workers harvested the wheat and walked back to the city not far off. Our heroes followed and found, as they drew near the city, the harvesters thresh and collect their grain, only to walk back to the fields to replant it. The group realized then that they had made it to Phylius, the final location for the uninspired and inconsequential. Among the sea of endless drones, Vasilis recognized his sister Sophia. He tried to snap her out of a trance-like state as she sowed the wheat, but realizing he couldn't do much for her, he instead said his goodbyes and for a brief moment saw the real her. Deciding that they needed to move on, the group continued to follow the wall out of the city before discovering it stopped abruptly. Further investigating this strange development, our heroes saw more droves destroying the wall only to use the debris to make bricks in order to rebuild it. It was with this group that Alondros also recognized someone he knew, his dad.
Attempting what he thought was futile, Alondros pulled his father out of the procession and was surprised to find him brought to his senses. Alondros apologized and his father reassured him that all would be all right. After a somber goodbye, the heroes continue their quest deeper into the underworld, and as they were following the wall, they were attacked by a grotesque conglomerate of souls. Living up to their name, our heroes slew the beast before hunkering down for a rest. Yet again, Callan was swept up in a vision of Theseus, this time on the outskirts of the Scola Vale. He tried to talk down his former companion, but the Lord of Chaos seemed unshaken. As the vision faded, it cut rapidly to another scene, this time a burning forest surrounding Theseus, wielding a bloody sword. Laying before him and his mercy was another god.
Lord of Chaos.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
what
I
he was
like
named.
that.
What a title.
Yep.
All right. Now that we have struggled through my poor literary skills.
Whatever, I thought it was awesome. I just been reading a lot, and I just put my book down, and my eyes are like, oh, you've already been reading all day.
Like reading both lines at the same
Yeah,
time
it's
coming
like-
together. All right. Well, we'll try and keep things. We don't have to stay in order, but to keep a little organized. We'll start kind of where we
Who knows?
we
shall
began
see.
in the recap. What are everyone's thoughts on Vasilis's backstory?
On his backstory, he has one, for one.
I know. It only took 12 episodes this time instead of, I don't know, 50.
Yeah.
Right?
I decided to fast track things. You know what I mean?
Just,
Fair enough,
just a
fair
little
enough.
bit.
Yeah, so thoughts on Vasilis's backstory. Did it... let me open with this one. Was it a surprise to anybody?
I was surprised that he was under the modified spell thing.
A modified memory?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that blew me, and not only one, but two. So, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that kind of makes a lot more sense, though.
Yeah, the 2 was brutal. I didn't expect him to ask for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one being forced upon him was
That was dirty.
brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty mean.
Yeah.
I just think that Zane can't help it but just write a sad backstory.
I think you mean a good backstory.
A good and sad backstory.
A good sad back with a little
Same thing.
sprinkling of some bad parenting mixed in there, right?
With a twist.
Yeah.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
Right?
It's true.
That's my
Yeah.
motto. That being said, do you guys think or how I should say, do you think this will affect the party's efforts to win back Theseus?
I don't know if it even matters.
Well, I think a good question to ask is kind of two questions. One, does Theseus know? Like, has he figured it out at this point? And two, what will he do when he finds out if he does not know? I think
would
those
be
are.
surprised if he knew.
Yeah,
I
same.
don't think he knows.
Me neither.
Would Vasilis tell him?
I think Vasilis probably would.
I
I
feel
mean, it
like
makes sense, yeah.
That's
wouldn't,
going to be an awkward conversation to have.
wouldn't you fess up to the one that was like laid on you first and then be like, okay, so I did ask for it first time, but still.
Right? Yeah. No, he probably would. It's not going to go up over very well, though. I'll tell you
No.
that much.
Yeah.
Not.
I think if we do tell him, I don't think that it's going to have any swaying factor on Theseus. I think it's just going to make him more angry. And I think that he's going to direct that anger towards Vasilis like it was Vasilis. Like Vasilis is his dad and Proteus.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Which-
I think it'll cause a little bit of an uproar in his seemingly calm demeanor as of lately.
Well, and that's a perfect segue to could we speculate that Vasilis could be included or lumped into the cause of Theseus turning evil?
Yeah, absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
1000%.
I don't even think we have to speculate about that.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's
I'm
step
saying
number
beyond.
one.
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking beyond just Vasilis beating him in the games, because obviously that had a big effect on Theseus and his transformation to evil. But I think to learn even further that everything that happened post games is a direct result of Vasilis's actions, and
Yep.
also the actions of others at the expense of Vasilis.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well-
Because it wasn't necessarily Vasilis's fault that Theseus was framed for the thing that he did.
True.
He didn't ask for that. So, did his actions cause for that snowball effect to happen?
Mhm.
1000%. Absolutely. Which is why I think he takes it so hard.
Mm.
Obviously,
He
there's
would-
other things outside of his control, like you had said. But
I also don't think he would ever just, like, even if Vasilis did fess up to anything and maybe he took it the right way, Theseus took it the right way, I don't think that's going to stop him.
no, he might
know
be
what I
like,
mean? Like, he'd be
cool,
like, okay.
that sucks, but
I don't care, I'm going to go kill this god now, bye.
I'd see. I feel like it would be a little off character for him if he didn't like, if that didn't like. I feel like it's gonna stir some stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
Vasilis feel with this knowledge? That he now
Yeah, that's a
has?
great question.
Yeah, I think we should, to answer that question, we should look back to how his subconscious was handling it whenever he attacked Alondros.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's how we see
Not very well.
it. Yeah. Which, by the way, was a really fun episode for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that episode.
It was pretty awesome.
There's
I'm
just
not
something
gonna lie.
about like
Killing
Attacked
killing
by
my fellow
teammates.
players. Like I just thrive on it.
I'm sorry. It's
Zane's
just
like-
what my character would do right now.
Zane's like, not gonna lie, love PvP.
Love it.
The only reason I play this game.
I just find it so fun to just backstab my friends.
I just do it right in the
Rather-
front.
Just a good time.
Whether intentionally or unintentionally. What can I say?
I'm just
No.
built different.
I actually, one of my favorite parts about like Theseus and Vasilis is like these little like similar themes that pop up. You know what I mean? Which is kind of like how I always viewed them, as like two sides of the same coin, Vasilis and Theseus. Which is why I think there's so many similarities but differences in who they are. With both of them having just not very great parents and they just have the same struggles that have led them on similar paths.
I mean, that's why they were good friends, right?
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Zane.
Hmm?
When did you know that you were going to be playing Vasilis as your next
Ooh,
player?
That's a
yeah.
great question.
That is a good
Yeah.
question.
Because we knew Theseus was going to be exiting the story
Yes.
for most of the first season. When I
Yeah.
say we, I mean me and Zane.
Yeah.
No,
I
we all
can't-
knew it too. We were part of the loop.
Yeah, we for sure knew.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
We
sure,
definitely
yeah.
knew.
Yeah, that's why we played along.
Just like me and Connor knew that Felix was gonna die.
Mm-hmm. I knew
Yeah,
it.
you guys knew that, right?
That's why I pushed
Why
him
you guys-
forward to
why you guys gotta
Strahd.
bring it
I
to
didn't roleplay it, but Zeno definitely pushed.
He gave him a
Felix.
little shove.
Yeah, get up there, kid. Take one for the
Zane
team.
trying
This is your
to
time to die.
pretend that
He was shocked.
he wasn't planning on killing Felix off the whole time,
What?
pretending to be the victim. He's like, "Why do you have to bring up
Why?
my plan?"
What?
Oh,
Oh, my
man.
stuff.
Who could have ever
Anyway,
foreseen
sorry.
this coming?
Let's go back to Tyson's question.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
Will,
back to the question.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know.
I'm trying to remember exactly what stirred it up, but I remember it was definitely like a snowball effect, kind of like this. This was kind of my chain of thought, right? So I was like, once we figured out that Theseus was going to there was potentially the chance of him turning evil and exiting the campaign. I had to figure out who was going to be next, and I was like, I could just make someone up, right? Like, who's it going to be? And I had like an idea, and I was like, it just doesn't feel right. I was like, I feel like the next character, also pro tip for anyone that is playing a campaign, like with your friends, and like one of your characters dies, always try to make sure that like the character that you have next is going to have some kind of involvement in what's going on, and it's not just like pop up randomly like, hey, I'm Steve the gnome, can I join your party?
Yeah,
I wanted to give him
rhododendron. I don't
So,
know my family.
I'm a gladiator.
I hate everybody.
Brother.
But I just wanted to have some kind of like emotional tie-in with the group, and some skin in the game. And I actually first thought about making Faustus my next character.
That would have been great.
That would have been really cool.
Right? I was like, Faustus. I was like, yeah. I was like, that seems
makes
so
sense.
cool. I was like, it would tie in with Theseus's backstory. They were friends, and like the party already knows him. I was like, au contraire. How about I play the guy that Theseus, that literally like started the whole journey for Theseus, and like they come together. And
had you known that Vasilis was like had gone through this whole ordeal when you were just playing Theseus? You didn't?
No, it wasn't until I would say
The episode before it was revealed. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I just made it up on the spot, guys.
Nice.
I would say like half, maybe like 3/4 of the way. No, I think it wasn't until I didn't plan his full backstory, all of that, until like we were playing Strahd. Like,
Gotcha.
I started to try to like formulate like what was going to be next, because we were playing Strahd, and I was like, Theros is going to be coming up pretty soon, so got to be working on that. So that's kind of when it started.
Gotcha.
Why not play Sophia?
She died.
I know, but he didn't know
Then
that she wouldn't have had to, okay?
Hey, if
True,
there's one
if-
thing
yeah,
we know
no,
about
but-
Zane, it's that he loves playing characters that are gonna die in the first few episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could have had
Yeah.
another one under his belt.
It's
And
fair.
he could have been a chick.
The problem is we knew too much of Sophia's backstory.
Yeah,
True.
it had to be a clean slate.
Yeah.
So I could.
There has to be the enigmatic, not gonna tell you backstory, or else Zane's
Otherwise,
not
it
in.
wouldn't be. Yeah, it wouldn't
Yeah.
be Zane's character.
Or like, why did
I
you want to
wanna-
play Vasilis? Zane's like, I don't know. You'll have to figure that one out on your own.
I want a character that has a
come
lot of.
on.
I
I
want
didn't
a
think you
character
guys
that has a
want
lot of
that.
skin in the game, but I don't want anybody to know what it is.
Why not Jethro?
Yes, bring
I-
back Jethro.
Oh
Okay,
man,
okay.
very interesting stuff. I'm excited to see what
Why-
develops. Oh, go ahead.
We missed out. Like, why did we not see Jethro in Narano?
Is he
Because
still
in
alive?
Elysium,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's true. He would be in Elysium. He was
he's a good
Yeah.
guy.
he was a
He's a good guy.
perfect hero.
Yeah.
He's still alive?
And
Man,
he's still
taken
alive.
for
He's
a
still
while.
alive.
Well,
He's
except for
Yeah,
like his
no one can kill Jethro.
Don't
not
worry.
even time.
A few more time jumps
Except
and
he
he'll
did
be
have
dead.
tie-ins with a criminal organization. Let's not forget about
What
that.
about what's
That's fair,
his
that's
face?
fair.
That's true. Watch later
lion.
down the road.
Why didn't we see
It turns out that Jethro is actually like the elder god or something. Like he was the first in like or
He's
something
Screwfix.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
He's like the Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry?
Jerry's
It's canon.
dead.
He is Tom Bombadil.
You haven't seen Jerry
Jerry's
yet.
probably Amphileus.
Yeah.
Listen. You're not going to see every person that you knew in life that has died.
We
all right?
gotta
Just-
DJ.
Just a lot of people. All right.
We're like, Jerry,
Oh.
who are you?
He's like, who are you people?
No one?
Jerry,
He's
we've
like,
been
I don't
looking for
recognize
you.
What?
I don't even know you.
No, he would recognize. Because that's who Callan was disguised as.
Oh yeah, he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, he was disguised as me. I
Yep.
forgot that. Yeah.
That was a wild episode.
It was crazy.
Those are some good episodes. The Melitus arc.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a arc.
Yeah. Also, if you have no idea who we're talking about on either Jethro or Jerry, like
You have not watched enough. You gotta go back.
Yeah.
Go,
Go
back,
back and
and
rewatch.
listen. Yep, re-listen. Annual podcast can be found. Really simple. But
It's
keep
just
in
like
mind,
50, 52 or so.
50,
episodes.
55
Like, it,
episodes, something like that.
that's that sounds like a pretty good weekend. Pretty good Thanksgiving weekend.
Pretty
to
good
me.
weekend.
So,
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see, 55 episodes, couple hours apiece. Yeah, it's a pretty good weekend. 100
yeah, we're
hours.
looking at 100 hours.
Listen on
Yeah.
2 times speed.
Friday, Saturday.
You can bust it out in
Okay,
2
as
days
if-
straight. 2
As
times
if it
speed.
wasn't hard enough to hear our recordings to begin with. It's like now put it on 2 times speed.
2 times speed. You have no idea what we're talking
I'm
about.
definitely gonna go do
That would
that
be
after
fun.
just to see.
Just see what it
how
sounds
You
like.
guys start
Oh.
on episode 1 and see.
Oh man.
Oh, with that
No.
terrible.
Maybe 8 or
audio.
9.
Skip the first 6 episodes.
We do have a
Everyone knows.
recap.
All right. Moving right along. Let's talk about Perforus.
What about him?
Mm.
What about him, guys?
How does it feel to watch another god die?
I'm just glad that it's not mine.
Oh. For a second, I was like,
God.
"You're glad."
I'm
huh?
glad. I think Theseus
Glad.
is right.
I didn't even want his gift.
Wait, I thought the rest of the campaign was just us going to be joining forces with it. What?
Yeah.
That's why you chose
That's
Is
the
that
whole
not
Zane.
why
purpose.
we're getting Adelphos?
Adelphos. So
Yeah, we
that's
had to go
fair.
get him to bring it back to the
Yep.
So the whole crew's together.
So Alondros is happy that Perforus died. Any other
No,
thoughts?
he's relieved
He's
that it's
relieved
not
that
his
Perforus died.
god.
Right. No, that makes sense. Although kind of not his god. Kind of his god
But
now.
now it kind of is. Now, yeah.
Yeah.
Callan kind of feels indifferent about it. He doesn't really feel sad by it, and he doesn't feel happy. I think Callan is starting to gain a different perspective after Clothis supposedly has died. That even if we fail and all the gods are destroyed for however long they aren't around, I think Callan is starting to gain a perspective that, like, maybe this spark of divinity maybe this is just the cycle of it. Maybe this is what happens. Maybe the gods need to get destroyed to make room for the next evolution or change of what they could be, because a lot of the gods are, well, just gods in D&D in general are very, like, rigid and unchanging and eternal, and there's no evolution and growth. And so just kind of looking at it from a perspective of, like, maybe this is supposed to happen. Not that Callan wants it to, but if it does, like, is it that bad?
Whoa.
That's kind of nuts.
I've been thinking about this
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
kind of
out of-
philosophical, like,
Out of left
I
field.
love it.
yeah.
Yeah, Team Theseus all the way.
Hashtag was evil, but hashtag changed my mind, actually.
Hashtag what is evil?
Hashtag what is evil.
No, that's an interesting perspective. How does everyone feel knowing that now about Callan?
Let's kill Callan.
Do it.
No one's gonna flip.
All right.
I'm not gonna
He's
flip.
gonna
Fair
flip on it.
I think.
Do you think that Callan actually would, like, consider?
No,
I mean, no. I
No.
mean, I'm just
No
thinking this
chance.
new thought process.
no
I
chance.
think Callan is slowly moving towards like a lawful neutral, where he's like lawful to his close friends, but he's kind of becoming this neutral force, where it's like
Right.
because he talked to Theseus very calmly, just like an equal, you know. And so it's like I think he's just becoming more like he's like getting the clairvoyance of past and present and the knowledge of the here and the now from his different gods and stuff that he's
Right.
utilizing their powers and abilities, and I think it's just making him more
Present.
not so single-minded, I
Yeah.
guess.
And it's
Has a little bit
it's
more
making him
clarity.
more present in the moment of just like
Yeah.
the past is very rigid, the future is very soupy, and all there is right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And no matter what, it all works out.
That's a good way to just live your life in general. Word of advice from us PG-DND guys who definitely know what we're talking about with our life
yeah.
choices, obviously.
Hmm.
Live your life in the now. And just know that everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
And that if anything, you've got us on your side.
That's right.
You gotta
Thanks,
Live
Ray.
in the now.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we will not pull a Theseus on you.
That's what we should do. We should have that. That's like a shirt. It's like, don't worry, like, won't pull a Theseus on you or something.
Hashtag
There's
not
something
Theseus.
there.
Yeah.
There's
hashtag
something
not
there.
There's
Theseus.
hashtag not evil, then there's hashtag not Theseus.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what? Okay. So the way you explain it, Connor,
Hmm.
you're describing these essences, this divinity being passed on,
Hmm.
almost like seems like energy, like how energy can't be created or destroyed.
Yes.
Does anyone else have any theories on what with these essences being transferred to players to others?
I think it's kind of like, obviously it's just kind of what you said, but I also feel like it's almost giving, especially with Callan, giving him the insight that they had to see what they were supposed to tell somebody to be able to figure out, kind of a thing. So instead of having a third person, now he's just seeing it firsthand, which makes him be able to decipher it better for himself rather than hearing it through a god's eyes or God's mouth, where they could spin it any way they want.
Yeah, kind of like if the gods had one last card that they could play, like they're putting it in our court, kind of. Is that what you're trying to say? Like
Yeah.
if they had one last thing to do, like they're giving us those abilities because
It's like
that's
their Hail
all that they
Mary.
can do. Yeah,
Mm.
I like
I
that.
could definitely see that.
Like their final wish, kind of a thing.
Hold on. Say that again. Hail Mary underline.
Yeah.
I've also wondered if there's any of the gods who would be okay if Theseus's plan works. Because we haven't
Like
Cerberus
necessarily.
didn't seem too. He didn't seem to
No.
care too much.
Yeah,
I'm sure
none of
Mo
them
just doesn't
none of
care.
them have really. Not that they don't care, but it's not. It doesn't feel as concerning to them as it does to us.
Maybe they want it.
Maybe. And I
Maybe we
wonder
should
if
just let Theseus do his thing.
He's just giving them what they
I don't
want.
think that's the. Not that there's a
No,
right
because-
and wrong, but
Oh, there's a right and right. No, just kidding.
no.
I think
It's a pretty
Theseus
gray
is-
area.
I think Theseus's ultimate plan,
Hmm.
however, is to then turn around and crown himself
Yeah.
as the ruler. And I think that's where it goes wrong.
Hmm.
Is like
Yeah.
maybe, I'm not saying this is what Alondros believes, because this is not what Alondros believes, but maybe it is okay that these powers get given back to the universe instead of one single being holding them or whatever, or that we get this renewal or whatever it is. But
Hey, yeah.
I just don't think that Theseus is the right way to do that just because of his end goal.
Yes.
Maybe that is why the gods gave you their essence, so that not one person could have them all. Exactly.
It's like a giving back.
Here's a question. If they can be given, can they be taken? Like, does Theseus, is he like collecting these essences from these gods, gaining some kind of godly power of some sort?
Well, so far,
It's been willing.
the gods, as far as we know, have only given them to us.
So far, yeah.
As far as we know. And we don't know if multiple essences can be given. But I don't know. Can they be taken?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because Perforus died, came to the underworld, and then gave his power to Alondros.
Yeah,
Did he die? Did he die and then go to the underworld, or did he go to the underworld
to flee
and then die?
Yep. I think
Good
it's more
question.
the latter.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it was
I
like
didn't
a
see it like that before, but
final ditch effort, especially coming to the underworld where Erebus, his brother. was.
Yeah.
yeah,
So he knew, he's like, I gotta go give it to these people. And I know where they are.
right. Or at least be in the domain of my brother to keep this safe.
Yeah. Interesting. So now
if
that
you-
begs the
Well, if-
question of what's gonna happen with Nylea.
But if he was going to Erebus to keep it safe, Erebus doesn't seem to really care. So would Erebus have just taken it himself?
It was given up before he got to him, though.
I know, I'm just saying, if he
Yeah.
would have actually died.
And Erebus knows. I mean, Erebus figures he's going to see you all again at some point.
Yeah.
Either you'll make it to his palace, or you're going to die trying. Either way, he knows.
In his mind,
he made
does
it.
it.
He made it clear that he knows everything that's going on in his domain.
So maybe we're just a delivery system. We're just collecting these things, and then we're gonna go bring it to him, and he's like, all right, now they're mine.
I can see that, yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
trade for us to go back.
Well, yeah. What do you? So what are your thoughts on Erebus? Do you think you're going to be able to cut a deal with him?
I think so.
I kind of think we can.
I think we can.
Look at the evil
Just
eyes
because
Tyson has.
He seems like he seems like the type of god who would make the shady deals, right?
He's very
he's the
likened to
one-
Alondros, where he wants to gamble with some things.
Yeah. So I don't know. I could see him making a deal if it benefits himself.
I agree, especially with how much he gloats over his domain and power.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Phaenax is a very tasty meal that escaped his
maybe-
grasp.
Maybe he's similar to Phaenax, and that's why he like hates him so much. It's
Hmm,
because
Ooh.
he's like,
interesting.
hey, I used to be the one that was kind of over these trickery and stuff.
Like
And now
looking
you
at your
kind of took over that. Like maybe they've kind of two sides of the same
Ooh.
coin kind of a thing, and that's why he's like, he got to it first. Like, if I could take him out, then I could have my pride back of being the tricky one or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys ever just watch Jefferson's faces
Uh-huh,
while someone else
right?
is giving an answer, just to see
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
what's he smiling at? What's he?
Why is the
Oh,
world turning
nod
so
ahead.
much?
Like a.
I know, and
maybe.
every once in a while he
Maybe.
looks down as if he's taking notes or
Yep.
something.
Yep. I mean, it's a great time to do it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If I was
No,
DMing, I would. I'd be like, yes.
You
this is
guys are
good.
talking way too fast. You
This is
have to
good.
slow down.
Jefferson
like
has
it's
this little
recorded or something.
voice recorder. He's like,
Oh, hold on.
I would literally go back and watch the after shows again, just to like bounce
Watch.
some ideas. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's crazy to think that I would have anything recording at at all.
Yeah.
But, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, what were you guys saying?
Nothing at all.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about Nylea. If that's okay
yeah.
to kind of go off script.
Sure.
I want to know, so 2 things. I want to know, 1, like what's going to happen with her? Like, is she going to come down to the underworld? Is that going to be a thing? And 2, if her essence goes to someone, who is it going to go to?
Ooh.
'Cause I've got a pretty
great
good
question.
idea
What is she the goddess
what
of?
I think.
Nature
Thalassa.
oh yeah, yeah,
and
that-
hunting. Yep.
Thalassa.
100%.
Yep, for
Oh.
sure.
But then, because then you would be like the order and the chaos of nature,
That
right?
would be crazy.
The containable and the obtainable and the unobtainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
Just saying.
I don't know. I wonder
Yeah,
how all
that's
this
interesting.
essence stuff is, how it works. It almost feels like a mantle that they're just passing along.
passing
Which-
the torch.
And that thought is kind of what changed Callan's idea. Like, oh, maybe this isn't like a bad thing. Maybe they kind of know this is inevitable. And how many times has this happened before?
Well,
Yeah, I was just about to ask the
Yeah.
question. Yeah, was this a mantle that was passed on to the gods that are existing now?
I think so. I think the
Yeah.
only either Crufix or Clothis are the only original beings.
Yeah. And like, is
But even then, like
Erebus, like, was he not Erebus, right? He was just like some other guy, and then took on the mantle of Erebus.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, look at Theseus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gonna basically be Mogus.
yep.
Yeah.
I've considered that. I've been wondering, like, if like in the Theros world, and at the end of this, if he's not dead, does he become like the de facto Magus?
I
I think we'll
think
probably
so.
end up either killing him or
Or joining him?
no.
or
We're gonna save him.
I still don't think he's making it out alive, though. Whether he's saved or not, I still don't think Theseus makes it out alive.
yeah.
Tough.
I think he's
Have
gonna
fun,
get his
Theseus.
redemption.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't think he'll live. I think it's gonna be like a Darth Vader redemption,
Yeah, we see that.
At least there's that hope.
where we
That's
take
good.
out his
Only
septum
hope.
piercing and we saw off his horns that are gonna start growing out of his head and feed him some hay.
Go on his
while-
feet again, because they're gonna be
Yeah.
goat feet,
He cut his
Or
hand off
cow feet,
and he
bull feet.
lifts
feet.
Mogus over his head and casts him into a volcano.
Mhm. Yep.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yep, that's
But
the
then
one.
somehow returns.
Yep.
Leading a
Oh, just
big little army of minotaurs.
Yeah, that like
Um,
never is
It would be
explained
really
or
cool
anything.
if next time we see Theseus, he's like slowly becoming more Minotaur-like. That would be
that would be
really
wild.
cool.
Zane
That would be
hates
wild.
that idea.
I
Zane
don't like
hates
that
it. I
idea.
kind
Really?
of
I think it would be so
Zane-
cool if he just like had horns coming out of his head that were sprouting.
even like ethereal horns, like not even
A
real horns,
tail.
like
Yeah.
flame horns or something. I mean, you've already played a character with flame horns, but
That's fair.
just like something.
Why not?
Like,
Why not keep it up?
No, it would be
Yeah,
pretty.
if it ain't
cool.
broke.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Any character with flame horns equals cool.
Comment down below.
Back to the essences, though. Like, you guys haven't found out how to control them or anything yet, really, have you?
No.
You haven't even had a time to try yours out yet. Tyson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mechanically, yeah, but in character, I mean, I've kind of flavored my spells very differently since
Mhm.
getting it,
which
so it's like
which has been awesome. It's been cool.
That's true.
All right,
it's been
how do you
fun.
feel? How do you feel about getting that essence of Perforus?
I think it's
Tyson?
cool. I think it's interesting because reading through Perforus,
Mhm.
like, it's not something that I at all would put on Alondros, but in its core essence is something that's interesting.
Mhm.
And so it's very fun to think about because it's like, in Theros, like, Perforus is supposed to be like, you know, you stick it on your cleric, you stick it on your guy who's in the middle of the fight, you know.
Mhm.
But I think it's really interesting to deal with, like, just creation, you know, and I think that that's super interesting. And so I found it super fun to play with and to, like, kind of make it, even though it's not what I was getting at was, like, it's not one that I would pin on him,
Mhm.
but because of that, it makes it interesting, and
Hmm.
I've turned it into something that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And that's been really, really fun.
Nice.
So I hope that answers the question.
No, it does. To be completely honest, a little peek behind the screen here is when the essence was to be delivered that episode. I had no idea who it was to. Well, not true. It was between Vasilis and Alondros. But after reading through the like champion of Perforus perks, the piety perks, I actually didn't feel like it fit a barbarian at all. Like I really was
Yeah.
like, nah, like I just don't think this will work. And so I was like, okay, by default, it should be Alondros, and I think it did, again, an unconventional fit to the bard. So,
But it does.
but I think it played out perfectly in the way that it was role played, especially because Alondros using the magic to help Perforus in his last wish to hold his hammer once more, right? Like it was just, I think that was the sealed done deal, as they say.
And
Very true.
It's a very symbiotic relationship with Afara, like creation, and she's over like all the Poli, correct? And so
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
like that
she's the
whole
goddess of
curation
civilization.
and everything, and I feel like there's a good relationship between those two, even though they're very different.
Mhm.
Excited to see what other Pokemon we collect. I mean, gods we collect.
Gotta catch them all, brother.
Oh yeah, I think there's only a handful that you haven't met yet.
Yeah,
You
we
haven't
did this
met-
list before. What was it like?
Did we do it
5?
on camera? Have we done it in recording yet?
I thought
I
so.
think we did.
In our last after
I think we
show.
have.
But in the last after show, you didn't meet Perforus yet, or Erebus.
Yeah, we did.
I think the only ones that we haven't met are the Storm Guy,
Aranos,
Aranos, and the Snake Girl.
Caranus,
And-
yeah, Aranos Farika is her name.
Yeah, Farika. And we have not met Ifara.
That's right. No one has met Afara yet.
Yeah, I've like talked with her and like communicated, but like we've never met her. So
Are you talking about when you were captured by the satyrs that you talked with her?
no, because that was
Okay.
that
That
was
was
Eileen. I'm just
Parametra.
talking like
Yeah.
through random, like I'll like
Oh,
say a
through
prayer
praying.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
like
yeah.
something will happen, you know. So it's like
Right.
we've like communed with each other,
Yeah,
but like
but as far as,
never.
like-
We haven't met Iroas.
Not so. Funny enough,
Matheson.
Matheson had a vision where
That's
Iroas
right.
appeared to him. Yeah,
And
or
then
Adelphos, I should say.
Vasilis with Mogus.
Mhm.
True.
I don't know. We've gotten a pretty good list.
Yeah, if you had a punch card, you'd be pretty close to that free god.
Yep.
Yeah. That free turkey sub.
You
Nice.
turn
Almost
the
got
card
the
around and
line.
it just says Theseus.
Oh, dun dun dun. Switching gears a little bit away from that. How's everybody like Philius?
I think it's the worst place in all of the underworld.
Really?
Yeah.
Even like you
It's-
put it worse than Agonis and Nerino?
Yes.
For
This is
Callan,
mindlessness here.
for sure. This is way more terrifying than endless battle for the rest of his life.
Just because you lose yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question is, do you know? Like, you're like when we were talking about it a little bit before, like how bad is it? Like, are you aware?
Like in
You know
your
what I-
own thoughts, you're aware or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Like, are you aware that you've lost your sense of self and you are nothing and serve no purpose anymore?
I mean, over
don't-
a long amount of time, I feel like you'd be numb to anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could agree.
I think
You- I
it's
think
only
you really would-
bad because we're looking at it from an outside perspective. If
Yeah.
you're in it, I don't think that it's that bad.
Over a period of time, I think it would fade. Like, it would just kind of become normal.
Yeah.
Mindless numbness.
Yep.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
Also, for real, all the people are just like placed like little file units in there. They're just filing in and out. Hence Philius, because it is a file. Okay.
We found it.
File.
We
File.
found it.
everybody.
We found it, ladies and
You heard it
gentlemen.
here first. That's a wrap.
We did it.
File yes.
File.
File yes.
File, yes.
File? Yes. Philius.
Yep.
Along with that,
Philus.
was Philius what you expected?
No.
No, not at all.
I thought it would be. I thought that as we go up, it would get like happier. You know?
Yeah.
But no. It's just different emotions. It's like, do you want to live in anger for eternity? Do you want to live in sorrow for eternity? Or do you want to live with absolutely no emotion?
Or purpose.
And then we're gonna get to like joy for all eternity. It's like,
And that's probably
Those are
going to
your
even be a little
options.
unsettling. It's going to be like, ugh.
Yeah.
There's nothing
There's
'cause
no.
everyone's gonna be like,
wrong
This
answers.
is so
Everything's
wonderful.
awesome.
oh, this is the best. Yeah, yeah.
No
So
hardship. Hardship gives you that
Can see that.
perspective of like, oh
Like a
man, this is a
constant-
good time.
You know, like a constant
Yeah.
forever happiness that starts to feel fake over time because there's nothing to justify it.
Yeah, because there's nothing else to do.
If
And you've already seen a little bit of that, right? Like, you've already kind of seen that through your communication with the Delphos and seeing him in a vision.
if Erebus gets destroyed, two parts. One, what's going to happen to all the people in the underworld? And two, if the gods get destroyed as a whole, what's going to happen? What happens to the soul after?
Like to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, like if there's no gods to claim dominion over anybody, what
yeah, or to
happens?
Therium places. Like, what happens when the guy in the boat never shows up?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna say, like, talking like mythically, I feel like this is how like the lore would go. Like, maybe not actually, but I feel like, let's say all of this is all said and done, right? And all of the souls, no one's there to collect. What happens to the ones that are there? I feel like it would become like lore that like the souls were like lifted up into the stars and they became constellations.
Mm.
Like they,
Yeah.
they they like blended into the Nyx sky. You know, like that's what I feel like Theros lore would bring it to. You know
Just
what
like
I mean?
go back to source.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or maybe even like a little reincarnation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
going on,
thinking. They
too,
go
you know?
into the
Well, I
dirt.
mean,
Back to
well,
formula.
I mean, returned are a thing, right? Like you already have
It's true.
a system. You already have
That's
an
true.
entity that embodies the returned soul. So I guess the question would be, would it just mean that when you die, you become a returned? You basically become a memoryless zombie?
It's a returned rage.
Yeah, if you have nowhere to go to, can you truly return though?
Yeah.
Because like
Fair.
the
You
thing
never
about
know.
returned is that they kind of lose their soul in going down and back.
Yeah, that
What
makes
if you never
sense.
have to go down, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes
I don't
sense.
know.
Wow. Crazy.
Obviously, those are not questions we're going to be able to come up with answers for, because it's
Yeah.
No.
Next
have to.
episode, there's this person that's like, if there was no god of death, there
This
would
is
be
what
no
would
dead.
happen.
It's Jethro.
I know. Is
Yeah,
it Jethro?
Jethro.
Well, this is super convenient.
No.
Just thinking these things, Jethro.
Speaking of running into people you know, Tyson, Zane, let's talk about your little encounters with your family members.
Zane's just super sad. Tyson's
I
just super sad.
I have
with
a
happy
question for Zane
twist.
after they explain what their initial feelings were.
Okay. I would say it was really frustrating. It was like Vasilis felt frustrated. I felt frustrated. So like, I felt it for Vasilis. Like, he wanted, his sister dies unexpectedly, doesn't get to say goodbye, and has slowly throughout his life, Sophia becomes more and more uninspired. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you guys remember, like, whenever with the flashback with Theseus, she was such a bubbly, fun, flirty girl, and
Yeah.
and then totally different person from whenever we meet her in Akros whenever we return, right? Not too long afterwards. And then to even see her knocked down yet another peg, it was heartbreaking. And I think Vasilis just wanted to connect with his sister, and the fact that he just didn't, it was sad that he did. Like, that piece of her was gone. He was hoping maybe some of it was left, but it just yeah.
Got a little bit
Dang,
of a
there's
taste of
a
Theseus.
crazy theme going on with your character Zane, of other people having an influence on their life and completely changing and altering the course because of other people's decisions. Like Sophia being forced to marry General whatever Buttface.
Yeah.
And her just like
I'm pretty sure that was his name.
having
Capris.
the life
It
drained
was
out
Capris.
of her.
Yeah, good job.
Good remembering.
Yeah, wow.
How do you feel, Tyson? Seeing your papa.
Alejandro's.
A lot. I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's kind of really influencing Alondros in a lot of different ways. So first off, like, he thought very highly of his dad and is very surprised to see him here. Because to him, his dad was this great figure who, worked his way up from basically nothing to being this head influence person in the universities. And so he saw him as this big influence and this person to look up to. And so he's having a hard time as like, if he can't make it past this place, what chance do I have? But then he also, it was really good for him to like have his dad say that it's okay, because he's felt a lot of guilt for everything that's happened. And I don't know. Alondros kind of has some plans moving forward to maybe try to change his dad's place in the underworld if possible. Like, maybe make him more of a big deal in the mortal world to try to influence things down there. Like, I don't know if that's even possible. Like, and also, it's kind of made him a little bit more cynical. I mean, right after we found out, he did cast Disintegrate on this creature, and normally he uses spells to like subside things,
Like level things.
But I was going back and forth on 2 or 3 different spells, and I was like, no, this is what Alondros is feeling like. He's just gonna cast Disintegration on this thing. Like he's just not having it right now.
A little bit of
I was like, I was like, there were 3 or 4 spells where I was like, I could shut this encounter down right now, and then we all just leave, and this thing's fine. But I was like, that's not where Alondros is at. That's not where his headspace is. It's like, oh, well, we'll just cast Hypnotic Pattern on it and just walk away, or Wall of Force, or anything. It was like, no, he's casting Disintegration on this thing.
That's very true.
So he's kind of all over the place right now, kind of in a state of flux with it all. So
it's a very different place for Alondros than we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it takes us. Not even I know what all is.
Alondros turns evil and joins
I hope
Theseus.
Hashtag is evil.
Yeah. I've been playing the long game, guys. You thought it was Zane. It's not Zane. I was playing the long game.
Alondros pulls his mask off to reveal Theseus.
Yeah.
I've been here the whole time.
I hope Alondros does, because Kellen's favorite food is lamb chops, so.
That's dark.
You're gonna eat Alondros?
Yeah, that
Oh
took
my
that's right.
turn.
Turn on me.
I'm
Turn
gonna-
on me. I've had enough betrayal in my life.
I mean,
Turn on me and see what happens.
Think about it. You're probably the tastiest one because you're the most clean.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Let's not pivot too far.
I have a random
Connor,
question. Though.
Oh.
Did we ever know if Sophia had a boy or a girl? Was it a boy?
We don't know.
We
don't know.
No, we don't know.
All you know is that General Capris was given the choice of saving Sophia or saving the child, and he chose the child.
Probably a male.
Does Vasilis want to go back and try and find Sophia after seeing Alondros getting a reaction out of his father?
I had that thought too.
Because we did determine that taking him out of the line kind of snapped him too.
That was
Is
that
that
was the
what
only
it was?
difference.
That was the only difference.
Is that Alondros pulled his dad out
And
of the
I'm
line.
not. I'm gonna throw this card out there. Jefferson did ask like 3 or 4 times, "Do you pull her out of the line?" And you said no every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it just
stopped
didn't
her in the line. You stopped her in the line, and Alondros physically pulled his dad out of the line.
True. I'm gonna be a little bit upset if that's the only thing that would have gotten me talk with her, but I mean, yeah.
Do you want to know the truth?
I'm sure that is the
can't
truth.
handle
That I
the
did
truth.
that was all it was.
It was a combination. One came down to dice mechanics, quite literally.
Yeah.
I mean, Alondros exceptionally well. I had maintain really high DC for him to break through to his dad. He met it. But then also part of that was because he actually pulled him out of the line. He took him out of the system that was forcing him to be on this cycle, right? Which is why I asked him the same question I asked you, which is, do you stop him where he's at? Do you try and follow him, or do you pull him out of the line? So it was a combination. It wasn't exclusively physically pulling him out of the line, but if you were to try it again, I think there might be different results.
Yeah, if we could find her.
So long as you roll well enough.
Right. I think if Vasilis knew that that was an option, absolutely. Like, I don't know how to find her again. If it would be too far out of the way. I don't know. I think know. And then
for Callan personally, if Vasilis brings it up, Callan's all for trying to help find her.
I don't know if I should. Like, I don't know, like...
Yeah.
If I went back, would I get much more? You know, Vasilis has said what he needed to say.
Yeah.
For the most part, you know. I'm sure there would be a nice little sentiment that Sophia could say to him. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and we did see, when you did talk to Sophia, there was a moment where she was there, right? And she acknowledged what was being said. Yeah. And I guess the question could be asked, would Vasilis go back for Vasilis? Or would Vasilis go back for Sophia? Because who knows? Like maybe, who's to say Alondros' dad even remembered that conversation once he gets back in rank and file, right? Like,
I bet he doesn't.
Like that interaction was very much less about Alondros' dad and more about Alondros, right? And so I guess that also comes down to the motivations of Vasilis. Like, would Vasilis attempt to do that for his own sake, or would he let it go? You know what I mean?
Yeah. If he does go back, I think it would just be entirely for him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
But it would, you know, I'm just saying that I agree with you. I don't think it would really help Sophia at all. She's still going to be stuck there.
No.
Maybe we could get some kind of information, I don't know, or a nice little, like I said before, some sentiment of some kind, you know, like tell Theseus whatever, or, you know, something like that, which would actually be really cool. I wish I could have gotten something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, either in both of your situations, it was more for you guys than it was for who you were talking to.
Right.
And like you said, Zane, like Vasilis said what he needed to say.
Yeah.
Dang.
And truthfully, the interactions weren't that much different, aside from the fact that Alondros got a little more a little more confirmation apology, but realistically, you both said the same things.
Yeah.
Which was, I'm sorry, this is all my fault. Which I think is very interesting. That both of you know what I mean? And again, it's not like you had the wrong answer, but interesting to see the two separate occurrences, two separate people, two separate family members, same outcome.
It's not the wrong answer, but there are going to be heavy consequences in the future, so...
Oh, for sure. 100%. You
didn't ask the specific question that I had written down, so therefore,
that's right. Like,
you
the
missed that whole
question.
plot.
Yeah, so
that's right.
So sorry, guys.
What was I thinking? Yeah, you're right.
Entire plot hook. That was an entire extra act of Theros that we're never going to get.
Let this be a reminder for me not to go off of Tyson's script.
That's right.
Yeah,
not to go straight away from it. This is a
hardcore railroad.
Yeah, respect it.
Respect
it.
RESPRECT. Find out what it means too. That's probably copyright. All right, moving on.
That's all right.
What are everyone's? Let's talk about Callan for a minute now.
Okay.
Let's talk about those visions.
Yeah. Yeah, they just keep happening, don't they?
Those happen.
Yep. Just keep coming right up like a bad penny.
I feel like they're similar to how she was. Like, this could be your destiny, but you could also influence it to be different.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much we can trust timeline.
I have a theory about this. So
All right.
I think personally that a lot of this has already transpired, and the reason is, how could Clothis be seeing a future where she doesn't exist in? Like the timelines that it would be like blurry from the point of when she was destroyed, unless she wasn't actually destroyed.
And unless she's not the conduit seeing it, it could be you.
Yeah, her
That's
ability to do it could have been passed
Just
to
transferred
you.
to me. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
That's what I think.
That it
So
was
maybe
just
her visions ended there, but now that you have it, now they can.
Now you have the gift.
Yeah.
I'm seeing.
Dead people.
Death and
You should go with the
destruction.
brown couch. It'll suit your wall paint better. I'm gonna sell these.
They buy it, and you're like, oh no, I meant red. I meant red.
Sorry,
there
it
was
was-
2 options.
Colors were fuzzy.
Well, yeah, and I think that is a very interesting theory, Connor. Who knows? Maybe Nylea is already dead. Yeah.
I think she is.
Really?
See, I think the conversation was either present or recent past.
Mhm.
And I think that the vision of Nylea was most likely future, if not present. So if your conversation was past, that was present. If your conversation was present, that was future.
Okay.
Which I guess are the 2 options. There's
Well,
no other option.
we
But
did-
still.
We did see, like, what's his butt get killed before we found him dying.
It's true.
That's
Perforus.
true.
Perforce,
Yeah.
yes.
And we saw the march
Yeah.
into
so-
it before.
This
But
is
also, we
like-
don't know how long it took for him to make the arm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have no idea the time discrepancy that's happening.
And it's probably different wherever they are because we're in the underworld. So
And what if the different layers have different times? So the lower we go down, like the slower time is. So like the faster it is up
Yeah.
here, and as we go up, it like slowly gets back to normal time until we.
Yeah. We get to Elysium and Adelphos is just like, hey guys. We're like,
Well,
this
no,
is
his
it.
would
This
be
is
the-
it. We gotta go. We gotta
he
go.
would be more normal.
His would be the closest to our time, so we'd be like, man, it took you guys a long time to get here. Like I talked to you guys like months
Yesterday.
ago.
I'm just kidding.
Look at Jefferson.
You know,
Okay.
and we're like, what do you mean? We've only been down in the underworld for 7
6
days.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, but we spent 2 of those days in Agonis, which is like double the
Yeah,
speed.
bottom of the
And then Narano is like 1.5, and you know, and
Probably.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is Jeff that good with mathematics?
Did you see his head? He's like,
He was eyebrow.
No.
Yes. He's like, that is what it is now.
maybe.
Jefferson is not that good at math, but Jefferson
But
does
Google
like a
is.
good time. But Google is, and Jefferson likes a time jump. So
For sure.
never to the past. We learned our lesson with the
Oh
not Harry
my
Potter.
gosh, dude. Oh, don't ever allow your players to go in the past. I don't care how simple you think it's gonna go. Don't
The
do it.
mental gymnastics.
Were agonizing. And it got to a certain point that me as the DM, I was just like, sure, we're gonna go with whatever solution they come up with because I didn't think this far ahead.
How could you? That was nuts.
That was rough. I don't know.
That was wild.
With the whole vision, is this the third one Callan has had?
Let's see.
That was your second.
Because
You
first I saw
saw-
the armies marching.
Yep, that like hit marching towards the volcano.
Then I saw him with Perforus.
Yeah, which he recognized you and called out.
Yes. And then the next one was this most recent one.
And you
Yeah,
actually
so 3 so
communicated
far.
through this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
So why do you think, or is there even a connection between Callan and Theseus? Why do you think they're connected, or is there a connection, or do you think it's just happenstance?
I
Good
don't.
question.
I don't know.
Is it because you're like connected to gods that he hasn't slain yet?
Is it-
Like, are you gonna lose connection once he slays?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, like how you just said, Shay, like Connor is like, or Callan is like becoming connected with like divine powers. So is Theseus.
Hmm.
He's
That's
he's
true.
gaining a following. Like he's gained divine power.
They're
Yeah,
on this
so
like divine wavelength.
yeah. There's like a
We're just
divine
built
channel.
different.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, Zane's got a point. You guys know that it's the worship of gods that give them the power.
Yeah.
Is Theseus being worshipped by his army, by his followers? Is that what is giving him divine power? Maybe he's not even feeling it.
Yeah. Because we know that's a fact of life in this world.
Well, we already know that people are like worshiping him because all those people, even though it was like a setup and everything, they were worshiping the next hero
Champion.
approaches.
Am I a cult leader? Is Callan a cult leader? Am I starting a cult?
I don't know, but either way, also
A cult of one.
him. Yeah, we did help him find all of the stuff that made him who he is. So there's a connection there anyway.
And is it what the universe wants you to see? Or is it what you dwell on the most? Is it that that's where your mind goes to?
Your thoughts dwell on Theseus.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the connection is, if there is one.
Callan doesn't know. Callan doesn't suspect.
I don't know. My gut thought is just that it's kind of just happenstance because of Clothis. I think if it was any other party member, whether it's Alondros or Thalassa or Delphos, I think that they would have the same,
Instances.
yeah, happening to them. But it could be because we had some agreement on the gods or whatnot at one point, or I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't figure out if there is something like the pin in it.
Yeah, back in like the very, very first arc, you were like, should we kill a god? And he was like, yeah. And you guys are like, cool, let's do it together.
Yeah, on the ship.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yep,
What a great conversation.
it was.
Which if you remember is where your last vision, like that was the turning point. Like your last vision took you from that point where you agreed to help Theseus with the armor and showed your life as it would have been if you would have sided with him the whole time.
I could have been your squire.
Squire!
So then that begs the question, is this campaign in the underworld reality, or is this just a vision of your following Theseus side?
Great, it's a triple
Or-
show.
Or what if this is all just like an alternate reality that's like in our heads and we're actually just playing a game?
Whoa. That doesn't happen. That's
Hold
not a
on.
thing.
Hold on. Are you saying that we are characters living in a world being played by fourth dimensional beings
See,
who are
we
in
went
control of
different
all of our
routes.
actions?
My brain went, are we gods?
Well, what if we are but three-dimensional beings playing in a non-existent
Multi-universe.
Wow.
realm
Wow.
of inanimate beings that live only to serve our pure entertainment?
Wow.
If that's the case, I feel bad for whoever rolled up Jefferson
And our
because
and our
he's
trauma
pretty mid.
healing. Whatever, don't talk about yourself like that.
Yeah,
Shut your face.
but
Not a human fighter. Maybe that's why I love playing a human fighter.
No, we'll see if the visions continue. I think the
And
interesting thing is, like, I wasn't this last time I was meditating. There was not even a thought of like, oh, I'm gonna meditate so I can have a vision. It was just like, I'm just gonna meditate because that's kind of Callan's kind of trying to do right now.
Yep.
And then it just happened that way. We'll see. I don't know.
We will see. Well, as we're wrapping things up, what are everyone's predictions for the rest of the season? For what's coming up?
I think. Who are we gonna run into? We're gonna run
What's the
into
next?
one more person.
What's the next tier in the
We
That's
don't
a
know.
great question. What do you
That's-
think? What do you think the next tier is?
Ruby wants to know really bad.
I think the way that it's gonna go is the next tier. If we're thinking about this as like circles or whatever, right? And we go to the inner circle, the one at the center has to be Erebus's
Castle.
castle or whatever, which means that the one surrounding it is I forget what it's called, the one where all the misery people go to.
The mire of punishment.
Yes, the
Tasiris.
mire of punishment.
Ooh.
And then on the outside of that is going to be Elysium. So I think the next one is going to be Elysium. Then we're going to pick up our good friend and then have to go from the best to the worst to get to the center castle. That's what I think. That's my theory.
Yeah. I second that. That makes
Look at
Any
him
other
smile.
theories?
that makes
Look
the
at him
most
smile.
Because we wouldn't just end on a good note.
Yeah.
Did we
Otherwise-
did
potentially lose somebody.
did
along the
Erebus
way.
tell us where his palace was?
He just said you'll find the palace. You'll find me at my palace.
That's another question.
Is there only like two places we haven't been to? Elysium
Mm-hmm.
and
Mire of punishment.
Mire of Punishment. So it's got to be the latter.
So it's one of those two. Yeah.
I don't think that getting Adelphos is going to be as easy as I previously thought. Like
Okay.
previously, I thought it was going to be kind of like, like we just walk into Elysia, kind of like all of these other places, and just like, oh, hey, what's up, Adelphos? I think it's going to be a little bit trickier than that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
Really?
be like an eerie, happy place where like you're like, no, you can't leave. You're happy here. Blah blah blah. Like,
Midsummer-esque.
yeah.
Heck yeah. That's crazy. I had that exact same thought earlier, like midsummer. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How are we gonna even, like, what is our plan to get Adelphos?
When do we ever have a plan?
Whenever you try to make one?
That never
Yeah,
happens.
Shay, what's our plan?
I don't know, because you guys always throw it out the window.
It's all
That's the plan.
coming together.
Exactly how we didn't plan it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea how we're gonna get Adelphos back.
But
Well, it
I
kinda
think
seems like he wants
here's
to
the
leave.
question: are all of us making it out of the underworld?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You know,
I think if anyone doesn't make it out of the underworld, I think it's Alondros.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
No, I'm not saying like I think Alondros is gonna die. Alondros is he's tried to sacrifice himself before.
Dude, it's true.
I think if something
matter
were
of
to happen,
time.
yeah, I think like if we were to cut a deal or something like that, I think Alondros would cut a deal like that.
But
Yeah.
Callan has the hookups with what's his name? What was his name?
Who? Phaenax?
Is that it? Phaenax? Yeah.
Which one?
The one that he was like, I'll make a deal with you. Go get my body.
Phaenax.
Yeah,
Yep,
Phaenax.
Phaenax.
Yeah. I don't know. But then if
Interesting.
he offers himself, then she's gonna feel horrible. Then we're gonna have like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like we only meet on the beach.
I know.
once every
It's like I
whatever
That's
don't
so
know
stupid.
I don't know if Callan could just because of the Lhasa. I don't know.
I
I don't know.
definitely couldn't. But I don't think that Callan and Thalassa are gonna get there happily ever after. How we envision it. I don't think they're going to. I think Callan's gonna get faced with a choice at the end that's gonna be like a really massive decision.
Yeah. And
Like
Callan
save the
makes
world
the.
This is
or
like
be with
Callan's
your
in-
love forever.
Yeah, kind of, and like Shay said, like a Pirates of the Caribbean situation, but not necessarily being like the Dutchman or whatever, you know, like, but just having to take on some bigger role for.
Like the end of Loki
Greater
season
good.
2.
Yep.
I don't know. That's the thought. That's
a
Callan's
great
internal
show.
thoughts I've been having about that he doesn't want
Yeah.
to talk about.
I think that there is a high chance of a lot of the Heroes of Theros not finishing out this campaign. Whether it's the last episode
Yeah.
or not, I think there's
Of
a
the
high
whole campaign is what
of
you're
the whole
saying.
Yeah.
campaign. Like whether it's
Yeah.
whether it's then or like sooner, like I think there's a high possibility
I could see that.
of them not getting there happily ever after.
Mhm.
Just because this is Greek. It's a Greek tragedy.
It's a tragedy.
That, and it's just getting real sketchy.
It's just getting we're getting deep. We're getting gritty.
Yep.
What's a campaign that ends happy, right?
Honestly,
Come on.
though, it would be like super poetic if only if like one or two of
Like
us,
one or two.
like
Only
Adelphos gets to go
Adelphos.
with Lydia, and
Yeah.
like Alondros lives to write the book and
yeah.
put us into myth. Like that would be
That
super.
would be pretty cool.
As
That would
much
be
as that would
super
hurt.
great.
Yeah, that would be Greek.
But it would just be Alondros left,
So
and he doesn't even
sad.
like give the credit to himself, but he just like writes it up as the heroes, right?
Mm.
And it was these heroes, and oh my goodness, that would be crazy.
Mm.
But everyone else is like gone.
Yep.
Writes. Ooh, Alondros like writes himself out of the story almost. Like
yeah,
he writes the whole story of the Heroes of Theros as the narrator and just excludes the fact that there was a bard even with them.
yeah.
Is that more like for a
Wild.
therapy for yourself? Because you went through all of it?
Like some like survivor's guilt kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And
like,
he
don't-
doesn't view
you don't
himself
deserve-
as the hero.
Yeah, you don't
He's like,
deserve
I
the
wasn't the
praise.
hero. I was just the one who was
Wow.
there to tell the story.
Yep, couldn't save my
Holy-
dad.
Oh my
Couldn't save my
gosh.
friends.
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Write that down. Man, what a way.
What a way.
What
Well,
a way.
we don't know what's to come.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much wraps it up for this after show, everybody, unless there's any final thoughts, final speculations.
Just right. I want to hear your thoughts. People viewing,
Yes.
our fellow viewers.
Listeners.
Like, seriously. Hearing your theories is probably one of my favorite things. Like, I love reading the comments and like theorizing in like the comment section with people. Like, seriously, anything, write it down.
Yeah.
Like, go crazy.
And 90% of the time, it seems like they know the story better than we do.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you're done listening, like, check out the comment section because it's probably better than anything we just talked about for an hour and a half.
Literally.
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 And then
Great
add
fans.
to it because, yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, just go in the comments and say who read the best. Who you liked the best
At the
reading.
very beginning.
Which voices
Comment.
did you like the most?
Comment, yeah. Oh,
And then
man.
just give us a thumbs up if we know that, so we know that you liked it. Give us a thumbs down if you didn't.
Yeah,
We like to hear all of the feedback
indeed.
and let us know why you didn't like it.
Yes.
And as always, there's a lot that happened this after show as we begin to wrap up season 2 of Heroes of Theros.
And a lot
That-
to happen.
And a lot to happen. And that being said, catch up if you haven't already in season 1 and season 2 of Theros. What are you still doing here? If you haven't listened to those episodes, go back. Figure out what the heck we're talking about.
Yeah.
And of course, if you are caught up and you're waiting for our next episode, continue to catch up on Curse of Strahd campaign run by Tyson. Because guess what? After this season 2 ends, we're going to be starting season 2 of Curse of Strahd,
Ooh.
which will be
man.
dropping soon.
Some's going to be joining us. We're getting
What?
a new
Who's
member,
it?
so there's going to be
Mystery
some
players.
twists.
Ooh.
Who's it gonna be?
Comment who you think it's going to be.
And as always,
Probably Zane.
And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment, as we mentioned before. And never forget that we love you.
Goodbye.
Bye.